It definitely has to do with money. One, two. I think Manny Pacquiao. I think his C game is a lot better than anybody. A lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring, man, against Ugas. He didn't look good. He was outmatched by, a fighter, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, bigger fighter, knows how to, control distance very well, can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous. And sometimes, these old legends, they got to get beat up several times before they call it quit.
And pros have opened up and commented on the upcoming fight. Let's check it out. Al will be fighting Mario Barrios in July.
Obviously, it has to be pertaining to any kind of money. It has to be financial. I mean, any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money. One, two. I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody. A lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring against Ugas. He didn't look good. He was outmatched by, a fighter, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, bigger fighter, knows how to, control distance very well. Can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous. And sometimes, these old legends, they got to get beat up several times before they call it quits. That Ugas fight, I don't know if it was enough for Pacquiao. That's why he's coming back. But Barrios, he can he can finish Pacquiao. There's a possibility that he can finish Pacquiao and basically cause him to go back into
one in the political theater in the Philippines, and if Manny Pacquiao is coming off of 2 defeats, a factor for why he's coming out of retirement, and pros us. Naturally, money could be a huge course. His last fight against Yordenis Ugas. Ricky Hatton stated, "It's boxing to definitely see that as a motivator for fighting at his age, isn't it? If you can let a 58 Pacquiao coming back at 46, doesn't look too bad. Year-old Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul. But Tyson was fighting Jake Paul. Manny's fighting for a for 6 years. He's relying on past successes to win a world title. How's he getting a world title shot after being retired? He should have been dropped from the rankings. Now he's walked straight into a title fight. How is that possible when he was making a comeback, and they've placed him 5th in the world rankings? Hey, he was a hell of a fighter back then, but we don't know how can a comeback fighter be in the top 10 after years of West first? But in boxing, he's like now. You'd think he'd have a couple of warm-up fights. These days, money is everything.
It's just sad that he feels any reason or urge whatsoever. However, on the other hand, fighters fight. It's what they do. Hey, Jim Lampley was gone for 6 years. Was it stupid for him to choose to come back and fall a fight? Was it a risk? Was there a possibility that he could embarrass himself and fall on his face? Are there some viewers and listeners out there who think that's exactly what he did? Sure, that's possible. But I was back doing something I love and I was getting paid for it. So I understand why Manny wants to come back and do something he loves and get paid for it. But it's one thing to talk into a microphone when you've been a few years away and you're a little bit older. It's entirely a different thing to go in and hit and get hit. And he made ungodly, indescribable sums of money. So I wish it were enough. But I'm not surprised that
urge to fight again. And there are plenty of pros who Manny is a legend in the sport who would clearly have the unstated. It's a fantastic fight for completely understand that. Amir Khan will be paid well, and fighting a legend like Manny Pacquiao, he needs that big fight. Pacquiao, who would say no to that? Big payday. It will be fantastic for him. Mario deserves this fight because every fighter wants that quite a lot. He's a very good boxer. I don't know how their peak, then I'd say all day Manny Pacquiao. But this how much Manny's got left in him. If they were in their prime, it could be a tricky fight for Pacquiao. At the end of the day, when me and Virgil were training together, I used to spar with him Barrios. I'm sure he's going to come in, wanting to win. Still got the fire in his belly? He's been out of the ring for a long time, and as he's off. And at the same time, you're always that one punch in this fight because it can change his life. A long lay, a great career ahead of him in politics, away from getting